Queen of Light 1111 here with Laura from Be a Good Soul.
Hello.
And we are back with our third installment here. We're going to rename this collaboration to be called Twin Tuesdays with Queen of Light and Be a Good Soul. So as you guys know, we have been collaborating for a few weeks now, and Laura pulls the Divine Feminine's energies for her overall energy, head, heart, and 3D space. And I pull the masculines. And then I have the current connection, what the energy is around the connection today and future. And Laura has some advice for the feminine based on these energies. So before we get into this, I'd like to just give you guys a reminder that, again, Laura is going to come down to California. So super excited about Laura coming to the States. We're going to do a, we're going to have a workshop, a seminar that we're planning for February or March, mid-February, early March, based on when Laura gets her the appropriate paperwork to come out here.
Fingers crossed, it'll be fine.
Okay, so yeah, pass the background check. So anyway, she's going to come out. We're going to meet with our group. So what we want to do is we want to come together with all of you in person and have a great session around this journey. Make sure it's interactive. Potentially have some energy exchanges as far as readings and healings are concerned. So continue to let us know, one, your interest level, two, if what else you may want to see. It's going to be a 3 to maybe 4 hour session. We're still working through the agenda, but again, we're so excited to be collaborating, one, with each other, and then to be able to come forward in person to all of you. And I think Laura has also mentioned in her videos that we're also, depending on how this goes in Northern California, that we're going to be taking this workshop, this seminar, to Southern California and then to the East Coast and perhaps even Vegas. And what we're doing is we're picking these locations where Laura and I have a great following. And so those are the cities that we have identified at this time. Remember, this is super, super exclusive. We are not going to have a ton of seats, and that is on purpose. It is because we want to be able to create a safe, intimate environment and create a really, really special program for all of you. Laura, do you have anything to add to that?
Not just in that, like when you were saying about creating a very small, intimate space, I think that's really significant for us, because when I did my workshop in London back in the summer, the energies of us all together, because, when I did it, we were all twin flames, the energy of twin flames all in the same room, the energy of people that are very awakened in the same room, it can be very overwhelming sometimes. So that's one of the reasons that we want to kind of keep it quite intimate, because when you have a huge group of people that are very awake and are twin flames, it is quite intense. And so it just, it will be, that's, keeping it very intimate, and it gives everyone a chance to get to know each other, gives everyone a chance to kind of talk to each other, share their stories, because we are going to share our stories as well, right? So everyone that left my workshop left as friends, and I loved that. And so, it gives you guys a chance to do the same thing, become friends, meet people, and it's going to be amazing. I'm so excited about it. So keep your fingers crossed that my B1 visa is going to come through. I feel like it will.
It will. It will. We'll all put that energy out there for you, Laura.
Thank you.
So we're super excited again. Yes. So again, when we go ahead and make this public as far as sales, you'll want to jump on it, because again, we're only going to have a certain number of people, as Laura mentioned, for the exact purpose that Laura mentioned. Again, these are highly awakened individuals, which make them very empathic, which makes them very sensitive to energies like all of us. So really excited about that. So Laura, do you want to go ahead and get into the feminine space?
Yeah, so shall I go for, let's go do the general overall energy that she's putting in. So there is still, if you guys caught the last reading, which you probably did, there is still a little bit of heavy energy left over from that. So the last reading that we did last week was You know, the divine feminine was feeling pretty down. It was feeling pretty heavy. Both the masculine and the feminine were going through that, and there is still some energy left over. So with this Five of Pentacles, she might still be feeling a little bit lonely, a little bit like this, she's been left out in the cold, maybe even that she's been left behind by this person here who's running off in the other direction. Now he's looking at her, right, and he's leaving her these two swords, but he's taking 5 of them. So there's been, you know, for some of you, there may have been some manipulation. He's even holding a sword as if he's going to kind of protect himself as he runs in the opposite direction. So, you know, some of you might have had third parties, or you might have had, you know, been with someone that was quite manipulative or maybe even narcissistic, but this person is kind of running in this direction, and she's feeling that because she's been left out in the cold. She's been left with this bowl here. There's nothing for her. So this is, although this is tough energy, I do feel like it's a blessing, because like we have the High Priestess, which to me is like the divine feminine in the 5D. So it's causing her to be a lot wiser in her future choices. It's allowing her to be more open and see more clearly, because this is her in the 5D, right? She's got this key. She can start this new beginning. She can close the door to old chapters and not let anyone else like this in again. But it's just really opening her eyes up a little bit for her to make better choices in the future, because I feel like with this energy, it's kind of like, this is, you know, when you see all the cards out that I've got and that Queen of Light has, you're going to see that, you know, the cycle's ending. This energy cannot remain. And she knows that. And that's why she's just become a lot wiser with that High Priestess.
Yeah, exactly. So we have for the masculine, the bottom of the deck is the Page of Wands. Okay, the Page of Wands is, you know, the kind of new inspiration, right, to act, to make an offer, to do something, maybe to message. You know, it's someone that's embarking on this new path with this new energy. So that's kind of his underlying energy for this whole spread when we do as we go through the masculine. So his overall energy, let me get these cards out, is the Four of Pentacles is the first card that comes out. Four of Pentacles, as you see, he's guarding his heart. Okay, he's probably guarding his heart. He's guarding his words. So even though he's inspired and wants to move forward and maybe communicate, he's guarding himself at this time. Okay, he's being very reserved. This is also stingy. And I say stingy in the sense that because as we get into this, we're going to see that he's very focused on materialism and wealth. And so it's like he's holding all his coins because he's still trying to build. So right now in his overall energy, he's not only covering his heart, but he's also holding his coins. Okay. The next card out is the Knight of Cups. The Knight of Cups is, you know, this masculine wants to move forward with the cup of love, but he's not able to do so because he's in his overall energy. We have the Five of Wands. The Five of Wands is about, you know, a lot of different people. This is about, you know, competition. This is about conflict. Five of Wands comes up a lot in this collective's energy. And Laura just had, Laura, you had Seven of Swords there, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so, you know, this could be that there's, you know, maybe a lot of different people that he's fighting with or, you know, having conflict with. And so that's stopping him from moving forward to offer, you know, his cup of love. Who does he want to offer this to? The Queen of Cups. But right now, he's guarded, he's detached, he's stubborn, he's rigid. Not trying to get too down on the masculine, but these are the cards. Got to read it as they come out. He's not able to give his love at this time. So at this time, the first card out for him, while he is inspired, he is very much guarding himself and guarding his pentacles. That's his overall energy.
Okay, so shall I go into the headspace first? Okay, so she's actually got the Page of Wands, which you just had as well. So I feel like she, in her head, she knows, she can see clearly, she knows that, you know, he would need to be the one that steps forward. She's done a lot of work. She's in the High Priestess energy, right? So she's very in tune with her, with what she needs. She can probably see this very clearly, which a lot of feminines can, being the 5D. But she knows that he needs to take action. Now, in her headspace also, though, she does have the Death card and the Five of Cups. So she's not going to do anything else. Look, there's death, okay? So because this is in front, it's like she knows that she's not going to be doing anything. She knows that when she thinks about her masculine, he's the one that needs to step forward and do that because she's done everything that she can. She knows that the way things were going, especially with that Seven of Swords energy, something had to come to an end at some point, because you cannot go on like that. This energy here with the Seven of Swords and the Five of Pentacles, that's such a dark energy. Look at even the color of the cards is just dark. It's sad, and so are these. But she knows that this energy here has to come to an end. Now, there is some sadness, and she might be picking up on the masculine sadness as well. Just because, you know, like I said, it really does feel like something really has ended in her head. She is saying to herself, I'm done with this. I cannot do this anymore. So she does have this sadness, and this is going to have to be released over the next however long it takes. You know, each individual is going to be different, but she does also have the Nine of Pentacles, which just clarifies it to me. She's going to be focused on herself. She's going to focus on her business, on her work, on her children, on her home. She's going to just be focusing on everything that makes her who she is. So, you know, I was saying to a client earlier that we've kind of, with everything we've gone through, we've had this huge awakening. We've come so far. A lot of feminines have done so much work. It's like now we get to just enjoy and sit back and focus on ourselves and not have to worry about this energy and this energy. We get to just focus on the good things, and the positive things, and the things that we've created for ourselves. And this energy will come. If you're still in this energy, that's fine. It's gonna pull through. This is where you're heading. But when it comes to the masculine, how you're feeling about him, there is sadness. To you, it's probably over. You're going to focus on you, and you know that he's the one that has to do the work. And that mirrors beautifully with what you had. You had the exact same card. So
right.
it mirrors really well.
Yeah.
We pull these cards completely separately. We don't pull these on Skype. We pull them and then we call, don't we? So
yeah, exactly. I love how they line up, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So in his headspace, I'll tell you, he has 4 major arcana cards in his headspace. And so what this tells me is he is definitely going through something at this time. First card out for him, the Hanged Man. So as you see in the Hanged Man, we have this light around his head, okay? This is a period of enlightenment. This is also a card of suspension, which is because he's not able to offer his love at this time, because overall energy, you know, there's conflict with the Queen, okay? And there's conflict probably with other people, and there's things that he wants that he doesn't quite have yet, so he's being rigid and stubborn. He is in his headspace going through an enlightenment at this time. He's learning to let go of things, behaviors, situations like this Five of Wands, people that may be included in this Five of Wands. He's learning to let these types of things go. Why? So that he can be in a space where he can give and receive equally. He is not even in a place where he can receive anything. He comes out as someone who's guarded. So when you're guarding your heart, you cannot receive love. And so in his headspace, he knows that. He's not in a place right now where he can give to anybody. See, remember, the Five of Wands is blocking his cup here. And so not only can he not give, he's not able to receive because his heart is blocked. And so he's going through this enlightenment period at this time. And then it's followed by the Hermit. So this Hermit is all about discovery, all about spiritual awakening and learning. So I really do feel that this is not just now he's awakening. I feel like this masculine has been awake, maybe not fully awake, but I really feel like because of some of these cards that are coming out and that we have been channeling, Laura and I have been channeling individually in our own videos, that he is really coming to this climax of his spiritual journey. I really do feel like it. I feel like he is really starting to give in to the sense that the way that he was before is not working for him. So he needs to take a pause, enlighten himself, release himself from things, and really become more spiritually aware so that he can give and receive. So then he can have a new beginning with his feminine, because this space now for me, this was overall, and so for Laura and I, these spaces all have to do with the feminine for me and for the masculine for her. So when he thinks about his feminine, he knows he's got to release behaviors. He knows he needs to be able to give and receive. He knows that he must be ascended. He must be a vibrational match for her, okay? So that they can then start a new beginning. That's the only way it's going to happen. He knows it. Laura mentioned it earlier as she was going through her cards, is that the feminine's not going to really take much action anymore. this death card that she has, that this transformation that needs to occur in this whole relationship. And you know what? He's going through it. We have the Hanged Man, Hermit, and the Fool. Release, learn, start anew. That's what I'm getting.
Okay. Okay, so how does the feminine feel about the masculine in her heart space? I kind of want, like, she has the sun, okay? I feel like, to me, there's children in this card. Maybe a lot of the feminines wanted to have children with this person, or they feel like a child with this person, but there is a very innocent energy with the way that she feels about her masculine, and she is still feeling like, the sun will come out. No matter what happens, the sun will come out. The reason, if some of you are not feeling the energy of the sun, is because you have a decision that you have to make with this Two of Swords. So she knows that she's at a crossroads right now, and she knows it, and she's trying to figure out which way to go. Look, she's got the Four of Swords as well. It's about healing, contemplating, thinking. Maybe for some of you, it's like reviewing things. We do have the new moon coming up, right? I think it's on the 7th. So that might be a good time for you to set intentions if you don't know which way you're going to go. But she's definitely going through some kind of healing here in her heart, and it sits right underneath the Five of Cups, and this card sits under the Death card. So there is some heavy energies that runs through the middle of this spread here. Now this here, look, she has the Six of Swords with the Two of Cups. This Two of Cups came out in reverse, and I felt like I wanted to keep it in reverse. To me, in reverse, it means it's the end of a relationship. And now she's got the Death card in her head, and in her headspace, and in her heart space, she's got the end of a relationship. So the Six of Swords, things moving into calmer waters. Things are going to get better. This is when the sun's going to come up. You can see, the sky is really grey here. It's really dark, but they're moving into the light. This is where the feminines are. So she is moving more into the light. But when she thinks about her masculine, she is still maybe going through some healing work, doing some maybe work that was triggered in her. And she has some decisions to make. She's at a crossroads in her heart. That could be for multiple reasons. Everyone's going to resonate with that differently. But with this Death card, it's like some of them, they know it's died, and it's like, now where do I go, right? I've focused my attention so much on the masculine for however long. Now that it's over, where do I focus? And so she's going within to figure out what the next step is for her. But whatever it's going to be for her, she's definitely moving into a calmer phase, because all this energy here, she's released and let go of. These are nighttime cards, dark cards. This is the sun coming up. So maybe for some of the feminines, that you guys can feel like the sun coming up in your heart. You can feel the warmth again. Your heart is opening. If you saw my live video with Bronte yesterday, you'll see that big light shining out of my heart. Very synchronistic. It's like the hearts are opening again and the sun's coming up. So there is good energy here overall for the feminine. It's just that with everything that she's gone through, I feel like there is a little bit of healing left to do. And once the healing is done, she'll know which way to go when it comes to either the masculine, or when it comes to starting over, or wherever she's going to be heading. But there will be sun.
Right. I also want to add to, we've been getting a lot of comments about, like, why do we have to go through this pain? But, like you just said about the light, the heart opening up, right? So the heart had to be pierced, right? You get triggered. So the piercing was almost necessary in order for the light to then shine through and to be healed through that Four of Swords. So, this connection, like we always talk about, Laura, this connection is about the evolution of self. It's about the ascension of self. It is not just about the masculine and what is he doing, and is he doing the work? And, the minute you take the focus off of that and focus on your ascension and your journey and your evolution, is really when you start to see these shifts. And I think that's the collective that you and I have been channeling, is the feminine that has come to that conclusion, that's realized that.
Yeah, it's all about self-discovery, remembering who you are, why you're here, shining your light, which you're going to receive your light by, like you said, you have to crack it open to get the light in. Right. And that's exactly what we've been going through. So yeah, it's, you let the light in, you become the light, and then you step into the world, you shine your light, and then it cracks open other people's lights, and so on and so forth. It's all about awakening. So it's not really about, not all about the masculine, it's about yourself. And yeah, when you notice that, when you start living that as your truth, that is when you might not always see shifts in him because he has free will, but it does awaken the masculine as well, but it also makes you, just to be honest, it just brings you happiness. You will have peace in your life and you'll wake up every day with that, and that's why this whole journey is worth it.
Right. And no one can take your peace away from you. No one can take that, because you're at that place where you're at peace with yourself and the connection, and that's the beauty.
Yeah.
So in his heart space, we got some more majors here. So here's what I'm really thinking about what's going on with this masculine is he is, as part of his need to let go of things and as part of his awakening and his ascension, the first card that flew out in his heart, the devil. Okay, so the devil's not always about stuck energy. The devil is also about the very 3D world, the materialism. It's about being chained to it. It's about being kind of obsessed with it. So what I'm seeing for him, we have the devil with the Hierophant. And so what I'm getting is, because we have the Hanged Man with the Hermit in his headspace, is that, he's very focused on his independence, on his money, on his finances. He's also trying to let go of situations, things, and people that do not serve him. But then with the Hierophant card, this is all about contracts, doing the right thing. It's about commitments. It's about learning. And so when these two cards came together for me, what I'm really getting is that in his heart, yes, he wants abundance. He wants this, luxurious lifestyle. But he knows that he is a little bound to things, because in his headspace, he's aware of that he needs to release so that he can honor this contract, honor this commitment, okay? And this is also about doing the right thing. This is about rules. This is about traditions. And so he is, because again, in the Hermit's energy, in his headspace, this is where he's getting this enlightenment to this contract. So he's very much in between this material world and this spiritual and realizing the spiritual connection. So he's really doing some hard work. He's kind of ascending in both 3D and 5D. So he's understanding that he can only, deliver a cup that is full if he feels independent. And he's also trying to release himself from things that do not serve him. So that's the 3D space. In the Hierophant space, it's very much about understanding the connection, doing right by the connection. Then the card that follows, Knight of Swords. So he's like going through this, and I feel like then he starts to get a little restless, and now I want to plow through with my truth, okay? Who does he want to plow through to his truth? Queen of Swords. The Queen of Swords is the one who brought the tower down in many of my readings before, okay? She spoke her truth. She told him exactly what it is that she needed. So the energy that I'm getting in his heart is like, oh, wow, yes, I need to be financially independent. Oh, yes, I'm starting to understand this connection. Let me rush forward, and now rush forward to the Queen and make this offer. This Queen of Swords came out with the Ace of Pentacles, but I think what he's also getting is that, and he's going to get this in the future, and his heart's racing for her, to race towards her, to have this new beginning. But he knows that he cannot come in this night energy, that he needs to have more of a grounded energy. So in his heart, while he wants to race forward because he's coming to some sort of clarity, he wants to come forward. There's this great desire in his heart to come forward to the Queen of Swords with a new beginning, with a solid material offer in the 3D world with his queen. So he's really going through a balance, right? The devil is an energy that maybe sometimes you don't do the right thing. The Hierophant always does the right thing. So he's very much focusing his 3D self with his 5D self. Okay, and the Hierophant is a match to the High Priestess. The High Priestess came out in her overall energy. Mm-hmm. So this becomes a court match, okay? This is her triggering him further into his ascension. Okay, and remember, he got the Hermit in his head.
Yeah, like it. They're like becoming a 5D match, which is where Twin Flames, the connection comes from there, doesn't it? From the 5D.
Exactly.
Like it.
Well, because it's dead right now, right? In her space, she's like, no, reverse 2 of Cups and the Death card. Yeah. So you have to go back to the 5D to finish the process, right?
Yeah. Which is kind of this energy here. It's like she's in the 5D healing. He's in the going to the Hierophant. So yeah, it makes sense. So going into the 3D space, action towards the masculine or action with herself, she first of all has the justice. I do feel like now looking at this now, I feel like she is finding balance for herself. Because she's released this heavy energy here. It's like she was always being pulled down to one side, because she was not only carrying herself, but she was carrying the masculine as well. So now that she's put that down and she's kind of grieving it in a way, in her heart and in her head, she's able to have a more balanced scale. I don't feel like she's covering her eyes in this card. So to me, it's like, I'm not ready to look yet, but I know that I can feel balanced. So it's like, literally she's stepping into the light still. She has that sun card and she has that 6 of swords. So for some of the feminine, she's kind of like, I feel balance, I don't see it yet, but because it's manifesting, this is how we create things, right? As the feminine, we feel it within and then it happens without, right? As within, so without. So she's feeling the balance. She's starting to release energy from her heart, from her head. She's seeing the sign, and eventually she's gonna be able to take off that blindfold and see it in the 3D. Okay, so it's going to manifest within it first, and then it's going to go into the 3D. Now, she's also got some battles here with this 5 of swords, but I feel as if, because she's got the magician next to it, to me, this is saying that she's not going to chase, she's not going to fight. She is the magician. This is a perfect card for the feminine, because that's how we create. Like I said, we use the law of attraction. So she knows this is her superpower. Us feminines, we all have a power, we all have a gift, some of us have many. She knows that this energy does not get her anywhere. This energy is what's caused all this heartache and pain in the past. She's, like I said, with that Page of Wands, she's not going to do that anymore. She is going to be stepping fully into her power as the magician. So she's going to just create whatever she wants to create next. She's also got the King of Cups. So King of Cups is someone that's very emotionally available, right? Someone who knows what their feelings are, someone who's very emotionally stable and not afraid to speak. So I do feel like this is her energy. She is this. She's the king herself. I know this is a king and, you know, whatever, king, queen, whatever. But it's that very high vibrational energy of being emotionally available, knowing how they feel, knowing how she feels, knowing that she can speak it in the future if she needs to. But, you know, for her as well with the masculine, she knows that this is the only masculine she'd be able to be with, whether it's the divine masculine or another divine masculine. She knows they would need to have to be very open-hearted, very available, very honest and very truthful. If that's what she's trying to manifest. Like, she knows that she can't get anywhere with this in the 3D. This is what she's going to be doing. She knows she can't do that. So she's going to manifest this. She's going to become this energy. She is becoming this energy of the King of Cups. And she knows that she wants to manifest someone the same energy. So she's going to stand in that energy and manifest and attract a counterpart. So that could be the divine masculine, seeing as he's going through quite a lot of stuff right now over on your side. Yeah, could be.
So that was your 3D space, right?
Yeah.
So now for him, his 3D space is the King of Wands. So, you know, this is really what he wants to be. He comes out as the King of Wands in many of my readings in this 3D space. He wants to be ambitious. He wants to be successful. He wants to be a leader. And this is really what he's striving to be, okay? But that's not going to bring him all this satisfaction. 4 of Cups. 4 of Cups, look at him. He's bored. He's looking at the 3 cups in front of him, not looking at that divine cup. That is his feminine, okay? And so just focusing on materialism and maybe other parties, I don't know what it could be, or just other things, is not satisfying him in the 3D. And that needs to be healed, because this relationship, this is Temperance, at this time is unbalanced. There is an imbalance in this relationship over materialism and spiritualism for him. And so maybe there's too much of a focus. I mean, remember, we've got the devil's energy in his heart space. But I'm hopeful, because he really has some really good cards. I mean, the Hanged Man is enlightenment. The Hermit is about isolating yourself, being on this journey, ascending. You know, this devil's energy is important for him, that where he needs to release some behaviors, but yes, focus on his materialism and then understand the contract with the Hierophant. So there's a lot to be healed. There's a lot to be brought into balance. And then his last card, 3D, is 9 of Pentacles. This is what he ultimately wants. He wants success. He wants freedom. He wants financial independence. And that very much goes with his King of Wands energy. In the 3D space, that's really what he's focusing on, because for him, that is how he feels like he is whole. He needs to have a full cup of coins and a full cup of love. That's how he's going to feel whole. And that's exactly what's happening in his heart space, which is with the Devil's energy of materialism and this Hierophant's energy of understanding this contract, this commitment. And then this love and this manifestation will come through this Hanged Man and Hermit's energy that is in his headspace at this time. And I like that because his head is illuminated. He is starting, he's taking action, he's embarking. So I really like this energy for him. You know, it's tough. He's going through it, but we all did. Feminines went through it too. And so now for him, he's just working on himself in the 3D and in the 5D. And he's really trying to balance and heal that with this Temperance energy.
Did you want to also do the future energy? And then, yeah. And then I'll go in with, because I've got future for the feminine, like just advice. And I think it correlates really well with what the energy
is. So let me get into the energy of the connection. So collectively, where Laura's feminine and my masculine, where those two come together, what is happening in that connection? And then I'll go into the future energies for the same, for the connection. And then Laura has advice based on the future for the feminine. So in the current connective energy, 4 of Wands, okay, this is very much about stability. It's about, you know, marriages. It's about coming together. Some readers like to also say this is the twin flame card. So this connection is very strong, okay, even though it may feel like they're independently on their paths, which is what they should be doing at this point in time, okay? They're focused on their own evolution and ascension. This contract, this connection is still very important. This structure is very important to them. But in the current connective energy, here we go, 9 of Cups. They're making their own wishes come true. They're manifesting their own wishes. So the feminine wants to continue on her path to ascend, to let go, to heal, to be independent. The masculine is doing the same, okay? But I feel like because the King of Wands shows up in the current connective, that a lot more work has to be done on the masculine side. This King of Wands, this is the Duke card to his 3D space. And when Laura and I spoke earlier, the amount of major arcana cards trumps on the masculine side, trumps the feminine side, which tells us that the feminine has done a lot of work. He is still going through a lot of work. Hanged Man, Hermit, Devil, Hierophant, Temperance. He's got a lot of major arcana cards on his side. And so he's working really hard, and he's working in both places, 5D and 3D, to release the burdens, to end this burdenous cycle with his feminine. So I really feel like that's what's happening today, ending cycles. In the future for this connection, Temperance, again, I love it. It tells me that we have healing, that we have tempered, that we have balance. And we've ended the cycle, another 10 of Swords. We've ended the cycle. And now we start in this page energy of observation, of communication, of moving forward into what? This 3 of Wands. This 3 of Wands is what the feminine had put out there with this Queen of Swords energy. And so now we're waiting for this to come in. And what are we waiting for? Lovers, okay? Not necessarily waiting, but what are we manifesting? Okay, so what have we sent out into the world as far as the law of attraction is concerned? Well, what we sent out was we told the masculine what it exactly that we wanted with the Queen of Swords wisdom and with that energy, maybe with some of her shadow side, but it was put out there, and what manifests is the lovers, this divine connection, okay? So let this go. Surrender the connection at this time, because if you do, cycles will continue to end. The bottom of the deck is the Queen of Pentacles. This is all about grounding. This is about him nurturing himself, the queen, the divine feminine nurturing herself, and then collectively nurturing the connection, but not waiting around. Your own wishes, your own dreams, this 9 of Cups, very important for you to continue to manifest. You don't want to stay stuck. So ground yourself, nurture yourself. That is exactly what's happening with this connection at this time. So the advice for the feminine, Laura, based on this energy.
Yeah, which this is kind of perfect. So you were saying about surrender it, release it, let it go, let things, we do have the 7 of Cups on the bottom. So there's a lot of choices coming forward for everyone, especially for the feminine. There's doors opening for you, but you have to close a few of them in order to let these new ones open. But advice for the feminine. Now, what's interesting is what I did was I pulled my cards. I had another client, so I stacked them. And then when we had our call, I laid them all out again. And we had a Tower card in reverse in the advice line. And I can absolutely guarantee that card was not there. That is my favorite card. If there's a Tower card in my spread, I know there's a Tower card in my spread. That was not there. So Spirit, for some reason, wanted you guys to have that Tower card in the advice spreads, but it is in reverse. So what we have the 4 of Wands as well. This is about being stable, being grounded. I feel like this is the energy that you, a lot of the feminines are going to be embracing. This is, to me right now, not about the twin. I know this is the twin flame card to me as well as a reader, but I feel like because of the twin flame journey, it's like she needs to ground her energy because this Tower is coming in, and I feel like she's now strong enough not to fall because she's got the High Priestess. Now, something that I've been channeling recently, and I've mentioned it in my videos, is I've been seeing the masculines. To me, what it looks like is they're standing where there has been a tornado. A tornado has come through a town, and they're standing in the middle, and there's just rubble around them. And they're basically waking up and seeing the destruction that they've kind of created around themselves when they were unawakened. So to me, with this Tower, it's like, you are stable now because I'll go through the major arcanas in a minute, but you guys, the feminines are very, very stable now. And so they can let the Tower fall. Some of the feminines are resisting it. That's, to me, when this is in reverse, you're resisting something. You're trying to keep it up. You're trying to keep the foundation up. You don't want to let the Tower fall, but you have to, because a lot of the feminines here in the future, if you're still waiting on this masculine to come through, look how much anxiety that's causing you. That's why you have the Death card. You have to let it go and surrender, like Queen of Light said, because it's causing you anxiety. You're worrying, you're not sleeping, it's causing you too much stress. You might be getting physically unwell also. Okay, a lot of the feminines, I've experienced it, and I know a lot of other feminines that have been getting sick because of all this energy, and a lot of the feminines right now have colds. I'm
sick. Do you hear me coughing?
This is what I mean. We're getting unwell, but we're becoming physically unwell because it's so much of a burden. So we have to let that go. My hair was falling out in clumps when I was going through this. It was horrible. I was worried I was going to be bald. So we have to release that and let that go and let the Tower fall. We've got the Star here, which is the final major arcana in my spread. To me, it's like, again, having faith that what you are meant to have will never pass you by. Look how cool and calm this energy is. Each star here represents the 7 chakras. She's balanced. Everything's balanced. The hot and the cold, everything is where it should be. She trusts. She has faith. She has hope that everything will be okay. But she has to let the Tower fall. But she's learned so many lessons here with the major arcanas, right? The High Priestess, learning how to be the 5D divine feminine, trusting. The Death card, releasing and letting go of things that do not serve her, that cause her to feel like this 5 of Cups energy, so that the sun can come out. She was supposed to experience this. She's supposed to know what it's like to have, she knows what the sun is like because she's had the darkness, right? That's the law of polarity. We can't experience one without the other. We know how peaceful life is now. We appreciate it so much more because we've been through this death energy. And now she needs to find balance. She will be finding balance. She is becoming the feminine. Really, she's become the feminine. Now she's grounding it, because this Magician is like, now she can create the life that she wants. We do have the Tower card in reverse. It does need to fall, and you will learn when you let it fall that you have everything that you need with this Star card. You have everything that you need already within you, because you are the universe. You are the moon, you are the stars, you are the sun. So beautiful, to be honest. It's actually quite emotionally beautiful.
It is. I think the biggest lesson and the biggest message to take away from this is focus on yourself
Yeah.
and surrender this to the universe for
Yeah.
now. Surrender it. Surrender it. And you can't control anything other than yourself and your emotions, your path. But you have to do that in alignment with the divine. And so when you align yourself and balance yourself and choose yourself, it's always a win-win. So surrender the connection. The universe has your back.
Yeah.
That's the best advice that we could give anybody. And it's also through experience that we've also understood that once you surrender the connection, great things can then be manifested and realized.
Yeah, exactly.
So I hope you guys enjoyed this reading. I mean, Laura and I are exhausted. It wasn't as exhausting as last week's reading. It was really heavy. That's when I got sick.
Yeah, and I had a sore throat. We had a headache, didn't we, afterwards?
We did.
Right in the middle, like the third eye headache. Right in the forehead. Like I felt like someone was sat on my head. It was horrible. And then I woke up with a really sore throat, and then you rang me and you're like, you could barely talk, and it was just heavy.
It was bad. It was super heavy. And so I'm glad we're moving beyond that. I'm glad that we're seeing progress. And we're going to call this Twin Tuesdays. So join us again next week and continue to let us know how you guys enjoyed this segment. And then also, again, your interest and feedback on our upcoming seminars that we're going to hold next year.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you very much, guys. Have a nice day.
Bye.
Bye.